Hello everyone, welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. My name's Arc Revener and I like to play games, and today we're going to be talking about the Raiden Shogun and how to get her up to speed as quickly as possible. So you managed to pull the Electro Archon herself, congrats! Or you are in the future and her rerun banner is coming up, you're considering getting her and you want to get her materials ready beforehand. Either way, this is the guide for you, so let's get down to it. We'll be going over how to get the Electro Gemstones, and the Storm Beads which are dropped by the Electro Manifestation. We'll be going over how to get your hands on the Amakumo fruit, and the famed handguards which are dropped by Nobushi. We'll also quickly go over the Emblem Severed Fate, where to find it, and how to farm for it, because I think it's the only set that is currently worth grinding for. On top of this, we will also be going over how to get the Light talent books, as well as how to get the Molten moment and beat La Signora in order to get it. If you do end up finding this video helpful at all, please feel free to leave me a like and comment down below. I'd really appreciate it, and it helps me get pushed into the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to see more Genshin Impact guides, feel free to hit that subscribe button, I'd love to have you here. Alright, now let's jump into farming. Alright, let's start with what's easiest, the Kageuchi Handguards. These handguards are dropped by Nobushi and they can actually be found anywhere in Inazuma. They're honestly really plentiful, so you should have no problem collecting these over time. Next up, my personal recommendation is to go after the Thunder Manifestation. This way you'll be able to get both the boss drop and the gemstones at the same time, and by proxy you're also going to be able to get the Amakumo fruit a lot easier. To get started, I simply went into the events tag and dropped down to the Thunder Manifestation. From there you should be able to go talk to Catherine, and she will be able to tell you where to go next. Ultimately, you're going to have to do a pretty long quest in order to unlock the boss at the end. If you haven't already gone to Sayre Island, simply go to this waypoint and then surf over on your boat, and then proceed to go talk to the woman that should be marked on your map. Go ahead and follow the directions of the adventurers, and eventually you will have to solve 4 different puzzles in order to reduce the barrier around the island. Once you get rid of all of the barriers, you should be able to fight the Thunder Manifestation. Please make sure you bring a shielding unit, because although it's not too difficult to take down, it hits very hard, and if you're not careful, it can actually one-shot you if your HP is too low. But once you do defeat it, you should be able to get both the boss drop from the Thunder Manifestation, as well as the gemstones you need for Ascension materials. Alright, and now remember how I said you should save the Amakumo fruit for later? Well, it was actually because of those thunder barriers. When they're active, you take a lot of damage, and while you can technically go get the fruit straight away, it's just much easier to get it when you're not constantly getting struck by lightning. Honestly, these fruit are pretty plentiful and you should be able to find a whole lot of them, but you are going to find the highest concentration of them at Amakumo Peak. Alright, and next let's go over the Emblem of Severed Fate. You can find this artifact set at the Momiji Dyed Court, located at this location. Once there, it just becomes a matter of rinse cycling repeating until you get what you want. I personally recommend bringing a cryo or pyro character or both. This is because you can get a significant cryo or pyro bonus damage depending on the color of the light up square on the floor. Honestly, you can even save this step for last if you want, because you're going to have to do this a whole bunch of times in order to get a proper 4-piece set. Alright, and lastly, let's go over the talents that you're going to need to farm. As for the talent books, you're going to want to go for the Light talent books located at the Violet Court. Although you can beat this domain with any characters you choose, it is highly recommended that you do bring an Electro character, since there is a strong Electro buff there. The tricky part about this dungeon for newcomers is typically defeating both of the large Nobushi at the same time. You have to beat them back to back within a very limited time limit in order to make sure that one of them doesn't heal after defeating the first one. And after defeating the 2 large Nobushi, the next thing is just going after the smaller enemies, which should be a piece of cake. If you want to speed things up so that you can clear this faster and more efficiently, make sure to bring in a Nemo Swirler like Venti, Kazuha, or Sucrose. Alright, and last but not least, but still pertained to her talent level ups, you're going to have to fight La Signora. You are only able to unlock this domain after defeating the main story quest of Inazuma. So if you want to level up Raiden, you have to make sure that you are doing the story. I don't think that defeating this boss will be too hard for veteran players, but for newer players, if you need some help, here's my personal recommendation for how to take her down. One way that you can make your life a whole lot easier in this fight is by destroying the objects on the 4 corners of the room. These objects will trigger sheer cold and burning later in the fight, and if you're not careful, they'll whittle down your HP. Once you've taken care of these, go ahead and beat down La Signora to the best of your abilities, until she retreats into her cocoon. Once this happens, make sure to keep a lookout for these red floating butterflies, and make sure to pick them up as quickly as possible. Between each butterfly, make sure that you are hitting the cocoon in order to whittle down its HP. And once you get its HP down all the way, it should trigger the next phase of the fight. La Signora will turn into a huge fiery moth, and then you will be afflicted with pyro from her objects on the four corners of the room again. You can either decide to take down these objects again or go straight for the kill. Make sure you bring a healer because otherwise you're going to be taking a lot of damage over time from the burning status. And once you finally beat her, then you can claim your weekly boss drop. Make sure to hope and pray that you do end up getting the Molten drop because that's the only one that you actually need for the Raiden Shogun. However, if you don't get the boss drop that you want, you can always go to one of the craftable tables and transform it from a different boss drop using Dream Solvent. Alright, and besides character EXP as well as Mora, that should be it. I hope that you guys found this guide helpful. I just wanted to make a quick crash course for the Raiden Shogun in order to help people out that might be struggling finding certain objects. If you did find it helpful, make sure to leave me a like and comment down below, I'd really appreciate it, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more Genshin Impact content from me. Like I said, I'd really love to have you here. Alright guys, that's all for now. Until next time, best wishes. Bye.